Make sure you're seated comfortably, your body relaxed. Close your eyes and focus your attention on your breath, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your lungs. Allow any tensions and worries to slip away, with each out-breath releasing all negativity, with each in-breath drawing in purifying, clean air. Slowly let all outside concerns fade away. The space around you begins to darken as your attention moves inwards. Everything fades away, leaving only a quiet, peaceful darkness. You rest a moment in the darkness, feeling yourself safe and secure. The darkness spreads out in all directions, vast and silent. You rest within the great void, Ginunga Gap, the emptiness before creation, before the beginning of time and the birth of space. Within this void all things will come into being. In the very distance on either side of you, you are aware of the realms of ice and fire, so far away you can barely perceive them. Through their union, force and form will come into being and the worlds will be set in motion. It is in this place that you will meet Thurisaz. In the centre of the void you see a small light, a tiny spark of vitality. We will call the name of Thurisaz 3 times together to bring it into being. Thurisaz. 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 Through the power of your voice, the spark of light transforms, glowing a deep purplish red and transforming into the shape of Thurisaz. It grows larger and larger, shining brightly in the darkness, steadily moving towards you, until it comes to rest, waiting for you to enter. Slowly you pass through the rune and into the realm beyond. You are standing in a thick mist, cloying and damp. It clings to your clothes, forming ragged drifts that hang in the eerie silence. It is dusk, and the sky above glows a dull, angry red. The ground beneath you is hard and stony, rising upwards on all sides. As the mist shifts around you, you catch sight of vast shadows high up in the crimson sky, looming peaks rising up out of the fog. The jagged peaks of the mountains stare down at you through the gloom, making you feel exposed and uncertain. You turn slowly around and see that these great mountains rise up on all sides. There is no clear path through them. High above you amongst the peaks you hear the clatter of rocks falling, then, from another side, a flurry of inhuman howls breaks out and echoes back and forth across the great chasm above. You know that you stand within the land of the thorns, the primal forces of darkness, the deep souls of the mountains themselves, and the fierce wildness of passion and hate and fear, all dwell here where you now stand. You feel small in this place, alone and exposed, uncertain of what else lurks in the treacherous mists around you. As if in answer to your question, an intense flash of light flickers through the gloom, illuminating the cruel mountains for a second and making the white mist flare with intense violet light. Then the air is ripped asunder by a roaring peal of thunder. so loud that the mountains themselves seem to cringe in horror and shrink from its rage. As another flash of lightning tears through the mist, heavy rain begins to fall, beating down upon you, soaking your clothes and bruising your skin. Not caring now what beasts lurk in the mist, you begin to run, seeking shelter from the pelting rain and the raging of the storm. On you run, scrambling up the rocky slopes, slithering and slipping as the torrential rain gushes down the mountainside. Now you can make out shadows moving through the storm, some swift and silent, others vast and hulking, crushing the rocks on the mountainside as they lumber past. You dodge backwards and forwards, afraid to run on, but afraid to stop, flattening yourself against the ground each time something comes too close. At last, the light streaks through reddened skies once more, and you spot a shelter, a round building with smooth stone walls built on a shallow hill in the mountain slope. You run towards it and see a door, carved in thick, blackened wood. With a glance behind to check you are not being followed, you push the door open and enter, shutting it quickly behind you. You are in a hushed chamber. The air is misty and cool. You sense that the chamber has not been disturbed for some time. The walls of the building must be thick, for the noise and chaos of the storm outside is completely shut out. You can see no source of light, but there is sufficient visibility for you to make out a white stone rectangle in the centre of the chamber, and upon it the figure of a person sleeping. Although you cannot see who it is, they feel familiar to you. Upon the floor of the chamber, a strange design is inlaid into the stone, an undulating black pattern, weaving in and out of itself. You look closer and see that there are tiny thorns bristling out of each branch in the pattern. As you lift your foot to step closer to the sleeping figure at the centre, the pattern begins to move, and you gasp in horror as a branch of the great thorn rises up out of the decorated floor and wraps itself around your ankle. You cry out in pain as the thorns dig into your skin, and instinctively you draw back. The thorn loosens its grip, but does not let go. You see that the thorns in the centre of the room are now also rising up, thin, creeping suckers that slide and slither towards the sleeping figure in the centre. As the shadowy plant unfurls tendril after tendril, reaching up and over the white stone rectangle, you think you see the sleeper stir as the thorns take hold, just as the thicker, more spiky branches still hold you. Although you were afraid when the thorns caught hold of you, the sight of them enfolding the sleeping figure at the centre of the room makes you angry. You try to stride forwards, but the thorn branch that holds you grips tighter, and new ones grow up out of the floor and begin to lash at you, more and more rearing up out of the black pattern and bearing down upon you. As you wrestle with the thorns, you are aware that the sleeper is slowly being engulfed in the fine, shadowy branches at the centre. You shout to try and rouse them from their slumber, but they do not stir. As the fat branch of the thorn around your ankle drives its thorns deeper into your flesh, anger swells inside your breast, and you seize on one of the thorn branches that is now twisting and writhing about you, seeking to grasp your arms and curl around your torso. With a shout of rage you tug at the branch, tearing and ripping, hearing the satisfying sound of its brittle wood crack, ignoring its sharp thorns as they pierce your skin. The whole thorn bush rears and bucks as you rip the single branch out of the floor and hold it aloft triumphantly. Now it is your turn to attack. Beating at the thorn bush with your branch, you drive it back into the floor. The wood of the thorn branch you hold slowly yields to your touch, thorns withdrawing into the smooth wood as you grasp it more tightly and bring it crashing down upon the branch that still holds your ankle. The thorns at the end of your club stab at the thorn bush. The bush cracks and groans as you beat it with your club. Slowly you forge a path towards the sleeping figure at the centre. Each blow you strike sends the thorns back down into the earth, and at the centre, the shadowy black branches that engulf the sleeper now begin to fade. Closer and closer you come, stabbing and lunging with your thorn branch, growing more confident as you wield it, crashing it down into the ground, crushing the thorn branches with your blows. Blow after blow you strike, wielding your branch like a mighty hammer, its thorns transformed into the smooth, flat edges of the hammerhead. Finally, you stand alone at the centre. All is quiet. The white rectangle of stone rests on the smooth, unmoving floor once more. As you look down, you realize that what you have been protecting is not a person at all. It is a statue of a great man with a fine beard, dressed in full armour, carved in smooth white stone. At his breast, a single black thorn remains, and as you reach down to touch it, it changes, glowing with a brilliant red light that slowly resolves into gold. Where the thorn was, now a finely wrought golden hammer rests over the heart of the statue. This, you realize, is Thor, son of gods and giants, wielder of the hammer and tamer of the power of Thurisaz. Upon the floor the cruel black branches have changed to rippling gold, adorned with deep purple flowers, and in your hand your thorn club has now completed its transformation and become a smooth, heavy hammer. You walk back to the door and push it open. Outside the mist has gone, and the snowy peaked mountains are bathed in sunlight. The sky is clear blue, and the ground beneath your feet is a carpet of verdant green. All is well with the world, and you know there is now nothing to fear. You walk back through the temple of Thor and place your hammer beside the figure of the great god, knowing that you have won access to this place of power, and that on a future occasion the god may see fit to speak with you. As you lay down the hammer, a circle of deep purple protective Thurisaz runes appears upon the walls of the round temple. They glow with a vibrant light, and you know that their power is invincible. A single, glowing Thurisaz rune stands at the doorway of the temple, and you now walk towards it. You know that you will be able to come back to this place to seek guidance and aid from Thor and understand better the nature of Thurisaz, but for now it is time to return. Slowly you walk towards the glowing purple Thurisaz rune and pass through it, feeling its power caress you as you pass out of the realm of Thurisaz into darkness once more. Standing in the darkness, you give thanks to the rune for its lessons and energy. You watch as it fades away, leaving you in darkness, ready to return to your physical form. Slowly you let your attention return to your body, feeling the darkness around you start to fade. You let your awareness expand to the space around you as the darkness continues to recede. You feel yourself centered within your body, your attention focused on your physical presence, your breath, and your heartbeat. The Thurisaz rune has gone, and you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing yourself back, becoming aware of the people around you and of your working space. Take your time, and when you are ready, open your eyes.